Hello, soulmates, and welcome to Candid Conversations TV show with DocV. I'm Dr. Virginia LeBlanc-Shazad, the Pivot Maestro and heart surgeon for your soul hurts. We are here with Candid Conversation to bring you into a space and place of freedom, peace, and joy. This is the platform where we bring our Define Your Path podcast guest spotlights over. We have an up close and personal, and we just allow our soul to lead and the conversation to go where it goes. So, what is our why at Defining Paths International? It's you. You are our why, our motivation, and our glad ability to serve your soul's purpose. We're all about helping you think without the boxes and lift you into a possibility mindset to serve, profit, and sustain. We're here to help you navigate those waters, put you back in business, and we bring guests on that are in alignment with that or the same mindset and rising together through truth, transparency, and love. And I tell you, I can guarantee our guest today is all about that. So, Candid Conversations is where, again, we engage in real talk with our spotlight guests about their real experiences, their personal journeys, the intersection of life and business. Anything goes, right? Truth and real talk is the norm here, without exception, to help you heal, rebuild, and transform from the inside out. So, all are welcome to the show. You never know what you might get, especially true tonight. But we guarantee it will always be love, light, and life for your soul. So, without further ado, we are bringing back Define Your Path podcast guest spotlight, Brandy S. Jones. Brandy, welcome back and welcome to Candid Conversations TV show, sis.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Audience, if you've not listened to her podcast, let me tell you, Brandy S. Jones, you need to go and grab that episode. Fire. Stay with us right now because we're about to continue that party. But make sure you go and listen to that on your favorite platform or right here at Defining Paths online on YouTube. We let me refresh your memory. Actually, look, I already got my mind going because yes, it's about to be on. So she is a certified professional Christian life coach, professional branding coach, awareness speaker, ordained minister, author, hairstylist, and a native of Spartanburg, South Carolina. She transforms women and assists them with identifying, understanding, and growing their personal and professional brand God's way. Her passion is to help others become aware of who they are and shift into who God created them to be. This world needs healing, and Brandy S. Jones wants to be the coach at the forefront, and she is a coach at the forefront. So, Brandy says, let's just pick up, follow our flow. I had to go back into the memory bank right quick and remember there were so many things that I wanted to pick up right here in Candid Conversations. And the one that stuck out the most what had to do with even when you're in that hell space, right? That God is still with you. So, and that's a perfect lead into my first question that I just asked to get us going, and that's how have you risen from the ashes? So, sis, let's just start in there and see where our flow takes us.
That's a very loaded and broad question,
Yeah.
but honestly, the ultimate answer is God.
Mm.
And Isaiah 53, he said he gives oil of joy for mourning, garment of praise for heaviness, and beauty for ashes.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so when you, when you look at the ashes, and ashes, for a lot, if you look at it from a biblical context, Job took ashes and put
Hmm.
it on himself as an act
Hmm.
of repentance. He was
Hmm.
thinking he had an answer. He was getting away from who God designed him to be and his thought process about God, right?
Hmm.
But it was while he went through so much,
Hmm.
right? And
Yes.
so he uses ashes as repentance, which was
Mm.
a lot of how can I say it, culture in the Old Testament. That's what
Yes.
ashes were for, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
then when you look at some contexts, you see ashes as death. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when you talk about rising from ashes, I just got so much.
Girl, go in. Look, do it. I'm I'm sitting here. Speak, Queen, speak.
So when you talk about rising from ashes,
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's two ways I can go with that. I can go with it from, if I look at it from a death standpoint, I can go with it from dying to myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
good. Yeah.
So getting rid of that old man, that
Yeah.
old way of thinking, those old thoughts, even if it's been things that have been in your Christian journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like
Yes.
earlier we talked about like the programming and
Mm-hmm.
renewing your mind, you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so looking at life different, allowing God to speak to you when you're on this rebuilding journey and you're trying to rise again. Because
Mm-hmm.
when you're in those dark places of depression, abandonment, rejection,
Mm-hmm.
and making certain decisions like I did, leaving a marriage of 13
Yeah.
years, leaving a church that I served at for 20 years, and
Yes.
closing my salon. For me, depression tried to hover over me.
Yes. I
And
remember.
I don't
Yeah.
know, you remember us having that
Mm-hmm.
conversation. But thank God, and this is one of the steps, thank God for people who are sensitive to God and sensitive to the Holy Spirit that will reach out to you,
Yes.
you know? So
Yeah.
I had a day where I was laying in the bed and I was literally sinking down in the bed and about to cover my head. And then I
Mm-hmm.
get this text message from one of my best friends who never
Mm-hmm.
comes to my house. We always just meet up somewhere or when she does
Mm-hmm.
my hair. She's a hairstylist too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said, "Hey, are you at home?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "I'm coming over." She happened, out of her busy schedule, happened to have a 2 hour gap
Mm-hmm.
right when I was going into a sinking place. And God
Mm-hmm.
sent somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So one
Yeah.
of the ways of rising out is making sure you're connected to Holy Spirit filled friends,
Mm-hmm.
people that in your time of need can come to your rescue. God can use them, you know?
Yes.
And also preparing for those moments of
Yeah.
action, right?
Mm. That's good.
Because
Yeah.
earlier that year, I was sowing seeds by texting people every Monday,
Yeah.
asking, just shooting them a
Wow.
scripture or telling
Yeah.
them to
Yeah.
enjoy their day, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't know that that was a seed for the need I was going to have later that year.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so, for one,
Amazing.
surrounding yourself with spirit filled friends,
Mm-hmm.
making sure you're sowing the right seeds so that you can have that reciprocity, right? Godly
Right.
reciprocity.
Yeah.
Number three, Jesus, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And number four, therapy, you know?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then I'll say number five is accepting the space that you're in,
Oh, yes.
going through your grief process,
Yes. Yes.
accepting that you're in that space, accepting responsibility for any actions you may have done, right?
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
then having that godly sorrow and embracing where God is taking you. One
Yes.
thing my daughter got me with, I thank God for my daughter. I shared, that I had her at 15. She
Mm-hmm.
is she accepted her call to ministry when she was 10 years old. No,
Oh,
11 years old.
wow. Wow.
She got licensed when she was 18, which is 10 years ago, and she's actually getting ordained the 21st of this month.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm proud of her.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that to say is all those seeds that I've sown into her, those are seeds that I
Mm.
needed fruit from. You get what I'm saying? I
Mm.
had to get
Yes.
off of that fruit.
Yes.
And because of the space I was in, she said, "Mama, if I could be honest with you, the your apartment now, you never made it a home." And it
Mm.
clicked. I said, "You know what? I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't decorated, no furniture,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
I was making it like it was a temporary spot, in which it is, but
Yes.
still, it's a part of embracing the space that you're in."
At your end. Yes. So good. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was a light bulb for me and a
Mm-hmm.
changer. And so that I was like, okay, well, I started looking at pictures to decorate.
Yeah.
So just being in those spaces, and processing everything that you went through. And even some of the
Yes.
recommendations for me was to journal. And then
Yes.
again, I was big on therapists. You were one of the
Mhm.
people that I talked to. You and my brother Sam,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I had a therapist that I talked to.
Yeah.
Apostle Ryan McGempsey's phenomenal. And
Yeah.
so, and then just having the right people in my ear, because when you're in those spaces, and I feel like I'm just going on and on.
No, girl, please. Mm-mm. Let your
But
soul is flowing. Mm-hmm.
thank you. But when you're in those spaces, you can either go left or right.
Yeah.
And it's like in those movies when you got the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other,
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
and both are talking in your ear, but it
Yeah.
really shows your foundation. And so
Yeah.
having the right people in your ear so that you continue to go right and not stray away
Yes.
from where the Father is taking
Girl, look, it's
you.
so many strings to pull on that look.
Let's
To give
pull
you
them.
all the love.
Let's pull
Yeah,
them.
for real, right? Right. And look at that cute cup, folks. She got the branding, right? Brunch with Brandy. We'll talk about that later. But it's so much you said there. And I'm thinking, girl, my wheel was just spinning and I was trying to put a pin in all of them so I can get back to them. But again, we're gonna let our soul flow because that's what we do. Um, you know, allowing yourself or being able to recognize what voices to allow to pour into you and what voices bring you life and
Yes,
what voices just snuff out, make it even worse, right? Snuff out your soul. The whole death and life is in the power of the tongue. That is
yes,
so, so true.
so true.
And it can really, be something that we should be concerned about, like if we're in the church, right? If you're physically going to, or you have that trusted person, right? Because you don't know where they are. It's important to kind of know where they are on that journey, right? And I love what you said about the seeds, planting the seeds and pouring into other people, because that gave, like you said, you bore fruit from that.
Yes,
So that's clarity. And then when God brings you people, right, who just are all about your good, right? And well-meaning, as opposed to judging or speaking anything that is not life-giving,
yeah,
but love. I think so many times we get off on everything else when what people need is love. That is literally the
yes,
core message. That is the greatest commandment, right?
yeah,
And then we get caught up in all these other things and we start judging people for whatever reasons or what they're walking through, and we don't understand the concept of a soul journey because we don't talk about it in the church.
so true,
We don't talk
so
about that
true.
at all. And so when life happens on that soul journey, we
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to properly love on or
Mm-hmm.
care for or help usher people into their healing, their soul healing space, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the whole, we don't live by bread alone, right? Yes, we
Yes,
need we need the scripture, we need the words or what have you, but we need humanity, right? Otherwise, why are we here? He wouldn't have wrapped us in flesh and blood, right? It's a
yes,
part of just our journey and our process to be able to empathize with people, and just feed their soul, particularly when we're called to shepherd them or what have you, or if we're called to walk with them or whatever the case may be. So, I'm just so grateful that, we were a connection and lifeline for you and you for us, because,
yeah.
we were piloting some things and just stepping out in faith and yeah, and just allowing God to shape and mold. And it's a beautiful thing when you walk together, I think,
Yes,
because you don't even know
absolutely.
what you're doing, what you're planting, like you said, and then just the fruit that is going to reap and what that looks like.
Yeah, so
Just
true,
yeah, yeah. So
so
yeah,
true.
that was one thing that just came to mind. And just the beautiful, gift, of a child, and just those seeds you planted in her and what she has budded into, and just like all of
Yeah,
the just the huge blessing that I know she's been in your life,
I'm proud
and
of
just
her.
helping, yeah, to sustain And yeah, so it's a beautiful thing. I love the space and place that you're in, sis. I'm telling you, I see just
Thank
this
you.
light, this joy, and it looks like you over there, reflecting a little bit and maybe
I am. I was because I was thinking about what you said. Above all, love is the greatest commandment.
yes,
So when we think about love in its biblical context, love covers a multitude of sin. With love and kindness have I drawn thee near.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? So love is above all. Because love is your heart posture.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you through love and all of those things, how people feel about you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what people are thinking, you know,
Mm-hmm. All of
you
that.
all of those things, and so it's a big thing. It takes love. It takes love and compassion,
Yes.
um, even grace
Mm-hmm.
when people are trying to rise from
Yes.
ashes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You have to I had to learn to give myself grace.
Yes. Me too, girl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because when you got this spirit of perfectionism that's
Mm-hmm.
been on you, a spirit of ambition,
Mm-hmm.
everything you worked so hard to get to, and
Mm-hmm.
then you have this Job experience.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
Girl,
give
talk
yourself
about it.
grace. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah, I
And
do.
know, okay, everything that glitter ain't gold. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Everything not peaches and cream. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because for
Yes.
me, if I can be transparent, why these things are such a big deal is because my marriage people looked at it like
Mm-hmm.
it was great. And so
Mm-hmm.
people are still finding out. And it's been like over 2 years now. They're
Yeah.
like, are y'all not together? I'm like, no, you're late. but,
Yeah.
but to me, and they're like, well, I didn't know. I said, well, it's good.
Yeah.
Good you didn't know because you weren't
Right.
supposed to. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
But I battled with the people that I had ministered to in their singleness. How did they look at me now
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for me leaving my marriage when they desire to be married? Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And their conversation was, no, I still respect everything that you said because you're
Right.
authentically you.
Yes. And I was about to say that decision of you choosing you is perhaps an even greater ministry
Yeah.
because it helps them consider certain things or elements or however you minister to them
Yeah.
in making that decision or being able to see right when because
Mm-hmm.
that was the issue with me and choosing some of the relationships that I chose. It was me chasing, not waiting
Yeah.
and being still and allowing God, and attracting right from a healed space because I wasn't healed. I was dealing with all
Mm-hmm.
kind of soul hurts and brokenness and all of this
Mm-hmm.
thing, look good, right? Could perform for the best, had all kind of masks where you would never know.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't until I finally also got in that space where where I could just be still, and I was tired of being sick and tired, right? That's when God was able to do something with me.
Oh
That's when I
yeah.
was able to see my husband,
Yeah. My
you
God.
know. Yeah, do it, God. Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
true. Because even how people, and I don't know why I keep reflecting to Job, but
Yeah.
even how people look at the story of Job, it starts
Yeah.
from the standpoint of being tested, Job being tested. And I
Yes.
get it and I agree, but I also look at Job 1 and 5, and he
Mm-hmm.
said it was Job's normal routine.
Mm-hmm.
His normal routine was making sacrifices and repenting on behalf of his children.
Mm-hmm.
He had this religious practices that he did all the time,
Yes.
covering his children, covering everybody, blah blah blah, right? And
Yes.
so then he goes through everything that everything being taken away from him, right? Except for
Mm-hmm.
his wife,
Mm-hmm.
who taught that he had to tell her she was a foolish woman, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He had to check her. But all the things that he was sacrificing for,
Mm-hmm.
he got stripped.
Yes, girl.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
then you have where he finally gets to a place where he's ready, he's almost like turning, and then God jumps in there to save. Like, yo, he had to
Yes.
check him, you know. So
Yeah.
was you here when I made the heaven and the earth? You
Yes.
know. So go repent and pray for your friends because they ignorant too, you know,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Right. That's
But
real.
the scripture that I love the most, Job 42:5.
Yeah.
He said, before I have heard of you with the hearing of the ear, but now I know you.
Mm-hmm. That.
And then, yes, and then the amplified version says, but now I see you with my spiritual eyes. You see what I'm saying?
That's his spiritual eyes,
Yeah,
not religious, not performative,
yes,
not routine, but with
yes,
your spiritual eyes. It's
yes.
that soul freedom place, right? You
Mm-hmm.
taking that journey, and sometimes you got to get beat up on that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, and I love even how you share like when he was in that hell place. Also, God was still there,
he
you
was
know.
still there. David said, even if I make my bed in hell, you still there. He said, I never leave you nor forsake you.
Yes,
God's not
yes.
going anywhere,
Yes. And even if we're not
anywhere.
fully aware or present in the fact that we might be in a hell moment or a hell
Correct.
space and place, you
Mm.
know, it does not
Yeah,
negate, the divine, the all
yeah.
powerful, you know,
Because he loves us
aka
like
God.
that. He
Yes,
loves us
yes,
like that. You know,
yes.
that's why he died for us. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah,
he,
so
he was
good.
like, okay, that's not working. There. You know, if I could be straight up, he's like, you know what? They keep going the route they going straight to hell. Let me send my son Jesus. Everybody going to hell. Let me send my son Jesus to save. Let me send myself, divine and human. You know, let me send
Yes,
myself. You know,
yes,
so that I can save the people that I love, my
yes,
creation, who I've made in
yes.
my image.
But again, I keep going back to this, and I guess because I had such a long and deep journey in healing of self-love, right?
Mm,
Because I forgot who I was, right? Whose I was,
mm,
you know, literally a daughter of the Most High, literally royal priesthood, right? I'm supposed to be peculiar and different in anything
yeah,
but normal. All of
yeah,
these things, right? And yet I was trying to fit in to these different structures and constructs and ways of thinking and being and all of these things that were literally snuffing out my soul, right?
mm-hmm.
Being performative and just trying to please everyone, and chase after everything that was tied to a worldly expectation.
Yes,
Girl, and the moment I remember actually I was in Greece when this happened, literally standing in my living room and and just like I had girl stress had just been on me heavy, my body had broken down. Literally because that was that Mack truck, that has to hit me right because I'm just
mm-hmm.
I'll just keep going
Yeah,
right. I'll be stubborn about it and all that.
yeah,
And literally it's like God, I it was as if Brandy, this is hilarious. It's like I felt a thump on my head. Right, literally like God thumped me on my head.
yeah,
and
yeah.
and literally it was like you've forgotten yourself.
And you forgot me.
Yeah, I've and it's crazy because I was born into the church, okay? I accepted when I was 3 years old, so I've heard the word, I've learned the word. I mean, and 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 so it's like the journey of life, my soul journey. It's like I had to remember, right? But all this
Yes.
other stuff got in the way, and I had to go back to remembering for my healing, right? To be healed, so that I could do the work that my soul was contracted to do here on this planet.
Yeah, yeah,
And it was just the most girl, like little you talking about a soul pivot, right? And it's crazy that that this not crazy, haha, but just amazingly crazy,
yeah,
that when you wake up from the fog or the haze, when you surrender and allow yourself that strength and vulnerability, it's crazy when you are able to connect the dots and it all makes sense.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
you realize it's all worth it. All of the
Yeah.
pain, all of the everything,
Yeah.
it all makes sense. And then even when you look back also, the breadcrumbs that have been following you along, because I would have people say all the time, like when I was singing and all of that, oh, their soul felt moved. I never processed that.
Mm.
Not, because I couldn't receive. That was a hurt.
Mm.
I couldn't receive. I
Mm.
couldn't accept, right? I could give everything, right? Trying
Mm.
to please and all of that, but I couldn't accept. I couldn't receive.
Wow.
I would just, even just being able to say thank you would be like a shy kind of blushing or whatever, or turning away or giggle or, uncomfortable giggle or something like that. And, and when I started even speaking, sometimes it was like I just start to flow. I don't even remember what I said. And then someone would come up and say, oh, your words are so powerful, or, I really appreciate it, or what have you. And again, until I got into this healing space, because see, I was performing before I was able to just be in this space now. So I've been
Mm.
on like that Job journey that,
Yeah.
for about 3 years, and just, God working and doing just a miraculous thing.
Yeah.
When you just look at me back in 2019, 2020, beginning of 21, you look at anything from that time period concerning, and then now you look at just like, you know, that we've
Mm.
stepped out,
Yeah.
with the season 2 of the podcast and the Candid Conversations, and you can see my soul journey. You can see the
Yeah.
path, you can see the transformation,
Yeah.
and that's what allowing yourself to surrender can do. That's not putting me on a pedestal at all. That was all God, because I
No.
would have still been on that
Yeah.
path. I would have missed my
Exactly.
my amazing gift and soulmate of a husband. I would have missed all this. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be sitting here with
Yeah.
you probably.
Yeah.
But it was
And
a
it's
choice. Mhm.
it's amazing. Because to be honest, like even
Mhm.
from the time that I met you,
Yeah.
like there's another level of confidence in you.
Mhm.
And so
Mm.
I love it. Like your smile and everything is not that it was fake, but it's like more genuine. It's like
Yeah.
you're full of joy, if that
Yes.
makes sense. Like
Yes.
that
I was on
giddy
the joy.
joy. Yeah.
Yeah, girl. I was trying to get back on the joy train. Yes, but
Yeah.
still healing and recovering all. Yes, you're spot
Yeah.
on. Please continue. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so just to see that it just blesses my soul, it blesses my soul.
Yes. Mm. Girl, thank you. Thank you. That is so affirming and confirming to me, because,
Yeah.
and this is the thing, again, just being able to receive, being okay with knowing where you were and celebrating where you are now. Who you
Hmm.
was is not who you have to always be,
Oh
you know.
man. Yeah.
And it's just releasing that, because people try to carry the past into the present and future,
Yep.
right? And then you're carrying a lot of weight.
That's
And that's,
good. That's
yeah,
real good. That's real good. It made
yeah,
it made me so this is on topic but off topic.
yeah. Girl, look,
I
it's a
remember
flow. Go
I
ahead.
remember being in this church service, and you know
Mm,
how when they do tithe and the deacon come up to collect the
right,
offering and stuff.
right. Hmm.
And he said that Jesus said the poor you will have among you always.
Yes.
But he didn't say it had to be you.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know why that
Hmm.
just it's
Girl,
like you said, we don't have to be that what we were.
yes,
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why Paul said, take off your sin nature and put on your
yes,
new nature. You know what
yes,
I'm saying? Because
yes.
even our old life, he said,
Hmm.
not that I've arrived, but forgetting those things which are behind, and I
Hmm.
press towards the high calling of Christ Jesus. You know,
Yes.
so we
Yeah.
don't have to walk around as that person, as that bag lady carrying all this baggage, this frustration, you
Right,
know,
right. Thinking
and
your bag
even
is
the
cute.
right, think your bag is a Louis,
Right.
but the handle broke. You know what I'm saying? All of those things.
Yeah.
And so just, just being new, being refreshed, and being full of
Yes.
joy, being full
Yes.
of the things internally that God has for you. Because
Yes.
like you said, when we're in those unhealed
Mm-hmm.
places, we draw unhealed people.
Yes. Ooh, girl.
We
Yes.
draw toxicity. We draw negativity in all the things. And we can't
Mhm.
never walk into fully what God has for us and who God has for us.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
girl, and that reminds me also just of recent lesson that I've had and conversations that I've had about, just people who've been with you in the past, in your pain, in that piece, may not necessarily be the same people who are supposed to step with you into your purpose, into your calling, or walk with
So
you, and
true.
and all of that. And I think sometimes it's we don't allow the soul to lead us, and we get into the mind, right, or into the feels and emotions, and they can lead us astray in, like,
Mhm.
say, choices of, okay, well, this person can come along, or this person would be good for this or that. And have you consulted God? you
Have
know
you consulted God? Yeah.
have you consulted the Holy Spirit that speaks through you? And
Mhm.
are you allowing that conscious voice, are you bringing that voice conscious, to
Mhm.
hear, right? Are you listening to that intuition that's speaking? That's the Spirit speaking to you, trying to lead and guide you into truth and understanding. But when you're in a,
Yeah.
a posture of, like, say, desperation, or you're needing, you know, you're chasing something, right? Because something is happening, you're trying to fix it or what have you, just be still. Just
Yeah.
like the scripture, be still and know that I'm God.
And know that I'm God. But even too, sis, like separating from people, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like hard. They can still be connected to you, just not in
Yes.
the season that you're in. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So just because y'all don't kick it, you don't hang out or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that, doesn't mean y'all don't still love each other. Doesn't
Right.
mean y'all don't still have a relationship. Like some
Right.
of my greatest friends, we might see each other once a year, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Or it can be when we are in those ash seasons. That's
Mm-hmm.
when God draws us together. And then when
Yeah.
we're out of those ash seasons, God separates. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
So,
And
girl,
so,
oh, that's so
yeah.
good. That was so good. Girl, look, that's a perspective. No,
Mhm.
this is so true, but I think because, you might have people whispering in your ear, or society says, oh, if that person, or, just again, it goes back to not giving grace, not
Yeah,
not giving space for grace, or knowing how to give space for grace for yourself, much less anyone else.
absolutely.
So just because absence doesn't mean people have forgotten about you or don't
Yeah.
care, or they could be praying for you every single day. That could
Hmm.
be what's getting you through, and you just really
Yeah.
don't know. But when you have those soul connections, just allowing you, like you said, it could be years and you come back together, it's like you've never been apart.
Right. So
Yeah.
true. So true. So
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Girl, so okay, now where I still want to go now. Let's see. Let's see. What string do we want to pull? Who do we want to pull? Do one of the things I find also in just having conversations, or even just discoveries for, to collaboration, right? Because,
Hmm.
we're all about collaborating, right? Not that whole competition mindset, heal from that whole thing, right? Because again, that's a death and life conversation
So
and,
true.
program. So, I find that there is a greater struggle to get there and do that and be that, right,
Mm.
with my sisters,
Mm.
you know?
Wow.
And so with and when I say sisters, because I have soul sisters, right? And so I'm speaking more so from the Black female struggle, right?
Mm.
And what we've had to do and lift, right? It's still a lot of struggle and healing that needs to happen, I think, within our community. Because, even when you go back to, and let's just have real talk, when you go back to even slavery and segregation and all of these things, Jim Crow segregation, and you had like paper bag tests and all of this. Oh, do you pass this skin color? And then you go over here, or if you know what I mean. In just the ancestral and generational hurts that are still there, I find that we still struggle in coming together in a true connected way and not a performative way. Am I crazy?
Um, so I to be
And I know
honest, that
experiences are different, but yeah.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like that really hasn't been my experience.
Hmm.
So anybody that I've tried to collab with,
Yeah.
it normally happens,
Hmm.
but it happens only if the father says that I'm supposed to collab with him.
Yes. Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then I'm honestly, sis, I'm that person that doesn't really look at skin color
Right.
and stuff,
Exactly. Who
So
God
I'm like,
sends.
God,
And yeah.
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 So God, tell me who I need to choose, who
Yes.
lay the name before me, etc. And that's what I go with, because I feel
Yes.
like if we stay within our culture and stuff, we kind of tie God's hand on where
Yes.
He's trying to take us. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think back, to even that was a soul hurt I think that I dealt with even in my childhood,
Hmm.
and perhaps that's why I'm maybe even more sensitive to it because I don't see color. Our soul is colorless, right?
Right. That's true.
And, so I grew up in private schools for until I was about sixth grade or what have you, and I begged my mom to send me to public school. you know, and so then of course I was more exposed to all more diversity, right? And so and I come from a very diverse family, both sides.
Hmm.
So I never saw color. And it wasn't until, I started getting in more diverse communities and then just the issues, I guess, of life, right? Of experience, of the various constructs and oppressions and whatever else you want to
Hmm.
say, really started to come to the surface. And and it's conversations that I don't know if how I'm speaking on this because it just came up, and I ain't gonna lie, I fought God about having this conversation, but but again, my soul is speaking, and I'm in that allow, God, have your way of
Yeah,
allowing, right?
I get
So
it.
I don't know if this is just we'll open that conversation, but I appreciate you having it with me and just giving that perspective because I'm sure that there are some women listening,
Hmm.
who see it rather, whether they are identify as a black female, or even women who are not, black, who may have
Yeah,
seen it or experienced it. But it's a healing, I think, among women in general, that we have to realize that, you know, we are sisters, right?
yeah. So I won't say that it does not happen,
Hmm.
because my area is it's really a territorial thing here. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So it is. So if I now that I think about it,
Hmm.
I think it is more so territorial, right?
Mm.
Because
Hmm.
most of the people that I have collaborated with have
Hmm.
been people with outside of my city.
Mm.
You see what I'm
Interesting.
saying?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
are in bigger cities. So
yeah.
they're, and coming, Bible say come from amongst them and be ye separated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
we're talking about, sinners and things like that, but it's
Hmm.
one of them where even Jesus said, a prophet is without honor in his own home.
Girl, yes.
You know,
I'm glad
so
you went there. Yes. Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I had to be okay with stepping outside of my city. If
Yes.
anything, the hardest thing for me now is wanting to create network and things within my city,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
because of the mindset of the people around here.
Hmm.
And so you're spot on. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It just
Mm-hmm.
if I think about it, that is an experience. Now that
Yeah.
I think about it even more, the blessing is because I've connected with people in other cities who are more
Yeah.
diverse, who
Yes.
see the bigger picture of collaboration is
Mm-hmm.
what helps us get where we need to be.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, even look at the art, two
Yeah.
by two, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even Jesus sent he sent them out to collaborate, the disciples.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yes.
And so I think if we look at things from that perspective,
Mm-hmm.
versus if people see how much coming together can build quicker, help you build
Yes.
quicker,
Yes.
um, spread or allow your business to flourish even more. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
if I can be truthful, I think it's a horrible thought not to want to collaborate, because
I agree. Yeah.
in all, even if you get with people that build your systems
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, you're still collaborating with somebody.
Right. Right.
you know?
Right. Yeah, we weren't meant to live alone. We weren't meant to do business alone, you know.
Mm,
We were meant to come into community, you know, and if you go
community.
back, yes, you
Yeah.
know, and so this is why, you know, the world has just placed just these lines everywhere, you know, of defining what community you can go into or should go into, or you know, all of this, and we're not again consulting and letting our soul lead us, you know, and I think it stems back to just these soul hurts, right? And you know, what are you struggling with? Are you struggling with the history or hurt of scarcity, of lack, of you know, just fear, you know, not having enough and whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, not being good enough, trying to prove that you're more than because you felt less than all your life, or somebody told you that you were less than, right? Or you know, sit down and you know, stay out of grown folks business, and so now you're afraid to you know, to interact in
Yeah.
conversations and speak up, or you know, just all of these things that we don't process. But I think sometimes because the lift can be even more heavier, particularly for women, and women of color, because of just again the struggles and the you know, the biases or prejudice or what have you that have existed in the world. You know, it's once we get free from that, once we allow our those hurts to be healed, you
Yeah.
know, the literally the sky beyond the sky, the heavens aren't even the limit, because we tap into that divine power, and we understand who we are and that we co-create with God, and soul doesn't have color, and you know, and yeah, and all of this.
Yeah. And it's one thing, a couple of my friends, a statement that they started saying was collaboration over competition.
Yes.
You know?
All day, all day.
Yeah.
I am
And
not
so
taking yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, sis. I'm
I
sorry.
will say that I have, I've experienced those types of hurt even in ministry,
Mm-hmm.
where people would, try to make you look bad in order to
Mm-hmm.
get close to the leadership. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So I have
Yeah, I do.
experienced it, and it hurts. It happens in ministry, it happens in the workplace, it
Yes.
happens even at home, when it comes to
Yeah.
children or the spouses,
Yeah.
mothers and fathers and things like that. But if we can, is I know this sounds like cliche or whatever, but if we can
Mm-hmm.
keep our eyes focused on Jesus
Mm-hmm.
and God and the plan that He has, we
Mm-hmm.
won't harbor those hurts. You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? And so
Yes.
I built the mindset of, okay, well, they weren't supposed to be here. They
Right.
weren't supposed to be here. And then I
Yeah.
had to, because of some of the programming that I had and I had to get free from, even when
Mm-hmm.
I had my salon, I
Mm-hmm.
realized that some of that programming caused me to hurt people that I should have been building and nurturing.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
some of it is we've torn up relationships instead of
Exactly.
building them. And then when we
Yes.
see that, for me, I went back and rebuilt those relationships and apologized and things like that, you
Oh,
know?
girl, you just said, girl, look, you just said a mouthful. You went back and apologized. You went back and sought to reconcile with your sister or brother or whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
and I think we have such difficulty, as human beings in general, of owning our part in things that go awry, or
Yeah.
and we act out emotionally because of that fact, or we just totally just disappear, or just go all in a in an unhealthy way, when we can't or don't own or take our portion of the responsibility, in the things
Absolutely.
that we should have responsibility in. Now there are
Yes.
things that we have none, but yes.
Right. So true.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So,
But again, that's
girls,
where that grace comes in at, you know.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And I just love how more and more people who are, spirit-led, who are faithful, who are stepping out and not being afraid to allow their soul to speak. And I feel like that's also why God gave me just this platform, Candid Conversations, and it is morphed to what it has, because when I initially started it, it was just, have talk with, real talk with, various professionals or what
Mm-hmm.
have you, but the soul piece wasn't connected. You know,
Mm.
it was because I had to reconnect back, and
Yeah.
just coming into conversations like this with people who, I mean, there are women who have I've had conversations with, I, haven't known for but a few months. And like, but
Mm.
instantly had that soul connection. They got it. They
Yeah.
understood, just, and so I think we need to do more of this.
Mm.
People need to just step out of their comfort zones, embrace, you know, life,
Yeah.
seek their purpose, right? Lean into just seeking and finding, and allowing their soul to lead them, and
Yeah.
into all truth and understanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So even when you say the purpose,
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and so which is part of that collaboration, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm the I
Yeah, girl.
recently told my friends, I said, okay, I don't want any more friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm that person that will open myself up to relationships,
Yeah.
even relationships that have hurt me,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm at a place where every relationship has to have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
even when you talk about collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
so for me, I'm not connecting with you just to be connecting.
Yeah.
There has to be a purpose
There has to be
in what we're
alignment. Yeah.
connecting for,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that alignment,
Yeah.
which takes away our thought on being offended that certain cultures don't lead together. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah.
so you kind of go with Jabez when if you're wanting more
Yeah.
diversity, is enlarge my territory.
Yes.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? I mean,
Yes.
just think about it. Like this is even coming on your platform here.
Yeah. Yeah.
This isn't a platform that I asked for,
Yeah.
but God graced me to meet you,
Yes.
and your hubby, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
your honey,
Yeah.
if you call him
Yeah,
your
girl.
honey.
My honey.
And
Yeah.
so, guess what? There's more diversity. Even when I
Yeah.
look at the podcast list and things like that, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I'm getting to be on a platform, a
Mm-hmm.
diverse platform
Yeah.
where more of the world gets to see me,
Absolutely.
not just
Absolutely.
my area.
It
So,
absolutely, and the world gets to hear your voice, your message, right? Because you
mhm,
don't know who you will touch, who's going through what, and who needs that soul revival, right?
absolutely,
And,
absolutely.
just that pouring in, or just in general, again, me just being obedient to open up a conversation about,
Hmm.
just, women getting along, and just You just
Yeah.
obedience, I'm telling you, is so much better than sacrifices. And this is the thing that we need to just lean into. If your
Mm-hmm.
soul is calling you to do something, or you start thinking about something that, something is sticking in your mind, or in your tuition or what have you, listen to it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
it's that seed, it's the, that that flame is trying to get you to stoke it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. If it doesn't leave you, that's how you know it's God.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And just, and just really standing on that, because there will
Mm-hmm.
be voices, like you said earlier, that little dark and light voice
Yeah.
that will try to talk you out of listening, right? Or send a voice, perhaps a trusted voice, uh,
Mm-hmm.
to speak something right to you
Yeah.
that thwarts you from your path and from your calling, right? So, I think about, some folks who particularly might be coming from a more um, indoctrinated religious standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who might not understand the work that I do, right? And that's the healing of soul hurts, right? And helping people
Yeah.
understand the fullness of who we are and celebrating and our connection to the divine, to God, right?
Yeah.
But Jesus, he wasn't sent to the saved, right? He wasn't sent to a particular people
Mm-hmm.
only, right? He was sent to serve and to heal and to enlighten, to bring together in
Yeah.
love. He walked in love, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He
So
walked in
true.
truth. He was sent to thieves and tax collectors and prostitutes and all of this,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I suppose that, I have to thank my soul contract or something that apparently signed up for Fearless. Not fearless in that I don't have fear, but just, that you can
Yeah.
embrace the fear, maybe your ally. But you know what I mean? Oh, give
Yeah.
it to her, she'll do it.
Right. So true. I'm like, was this a
But
journey? Like,
right,
can
right,
I look at that
you,
contract for
right.
2026?
Right, right. But, just really, not allowing anyone to thwart your path or what you've been called to
Yeah.
do, or,
Even if it's ourselves.
say again?
Even if it's ourselves. To
Even,
not
oh,
allow
girl.
even ourselves to
Yes,
thwart.
yes, yes, it's
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And, you don't even know just the power that you have to change lives. This is the thing, I want people to realize, as we're just kind of getting to our last kind of thoughts and for our completeness, that just by stepping out, by doing, by being obedient, even if it doesn't necessarily sound like what you had envisioned. When you
Mm-hmm.
sit with God, He will show you, right? And He will
Yeah.
confirm and He'll affirm. And if you stop chasing, right? And He will start attracting, because what did He say? Lift me up and I'll draw, right? You don't know who He's
So
gonna draw.
true.
You don't know why
Yeah.
He's gonna draw. You don't, but it's about allowing, and
Yeah.
not judgment, not condemnation, not whatever, that
Hmm.
that the flesh gets all into, or the mind, the
Yeah.
thinking mind. It's, I tell you, girl, I have literally found this joy, unspeakable joy. I finally understand what it is, what it means. I finally understand what this peace that transcends all understanding, what it means, what
Yes.
it feels like, you know, and just
Yes.
how to be, and
How to be.
trust, you
Yeah.
know, have faith and
Yeah.
trust and allow him to guide. Like you said, I think you said earlier, or it might have been in the podcast, girl, we just pray, let him set the course, and just follow our flow. That's why I love that he gave me just the connection even between these two podcasts. And I think that happened even in the first end of the first episode, to have the spotlight flow into Candid Conversations. So,
Yeah.
because, just when you just allow your soul to speak, just to flow, I mean,
Yeah.
without the
Like you,
boundaries. Yeah.
it's really it's faith. It's
Mm.
faith and it's trust.
Yes.
Because when you get to a certain place in your relationship with God, where you're truly
Mhm.
led by the Spirit of God,
Yes.
you really
That
don't even know the next step that you're making.
you don't.
You know what I'm
You can
saying?
have
So
plans.
yeah. Well, Proverbs 16:9, a man's mind plans his course, but God directs his path.
Yes.
You know? So
Yes.
your plan is like when I get off, I'm going to get me something to eat. My
Yeah.
my thought is Chinese, right?
Yeah.
But he may, when I finally get in the car, it may lead me to go get something else, right?
Yeah.
But in getting that something else is my next assignment.
Girl. Oh, that.
So it's
Yes.
simply like even when I was telling you earlier how I said yes to my call to the beauty industry. I tell people I was called to the beauty industry because if it
Mm-hmm.
was my choice, I wouldn't have done it because I've seen a lot of the negative side,
Yeah.
being that my mom was a 40-year hairstylist, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I was thinking it was more so just me doing hair
Yeah.
and as a career, right?
Mm.
I didn't know that it would be a marketplace platform for ministry. You know
Wow.
what I'm saying? And
Yes.
so through even hair is how I met you guys because
Mm-hmm.
it was through someone else, um, through a tax person, and
Mm-hmm.
I met them for life coaching. And I loved her website and her online business. And then she
Mm-hmm.
connected me with you guys. You see what I'm saying? And so here we are now, 2 years later. You know, but it's
Yeah.
really just going with the flow. Like you really don't know why God is leading you,
Yes.
right?
But it's being willing, being open,
Willing and obedient, and you shall eat the
obedient.
good of the land. That's the
Girl,
word.
that is the word.
That's the
And that left
word.
goosebumps, girl, up and down my arm, my whole body, girl. Literally, I felt a rush of energy through my body. Yes.
Yes. If you're willing
Yes.
and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land.
Mm.
Willing
Girl,
and obedient.
willing
Yeah.
and obedient.
Hmm.
Mm, so good, so good. Girl,
Yeah.
look, okay. So, what do we need to say to do you have anything else you want to share or a conversation you want to open up to feel complete? Because I tell you what, this has been powerful and profound, and I'm telling you, like, I don't plan these at all. I just ask that one question, and wherever our souls go, that's where we go. And
Well,
this has been some good stuff. Mm-hmm.
this isn't leaving my brain or
Yeah.
whatever. How
Okay.
much time do we have?
Girl, look,
I'm
as
not even
much as you
paying
want.
attention.
Look, go
Okay.
ahead.
So I was thinking about when you were talking about stress earlier or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes.
It made me think about when I was dealing with a whole lot of stress, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, to the max. And when you're dealing with stress, it's releasing this overproduction of cortisol,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And the reason I know all of this is from being a hair loss practitioner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yes.
you have this overproduction of cortisol, that's releasing from your adrenaline, too much adrenaline, and all the things, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
now it's shifting your body into fight or flight mode.
Mm-hmm.
For me, so if anything I want to share is we have to learn to know when it's time to let go.
Girl.
So
Yes.
for me, holding on and suppressing is what caused my body to start having heart palpitations, anxiety attacks. My hair was falling out,
Mm-hmm.
weight gain, inflammation level. Like one of the inflammation levels, I think it's CPR. Um,
Mm-hmm.
thank God for my rheumatologist that shows you your labs, right? And they
Yes.
tell you what they are. And so the
Yes.
CPR number should be from a 0 to 10. Mine was at a 41.
Girl.
You see what I'm saying? And
Yes.
so then when you're in that, now you're going through all of this, and here you're going into some things happening with your kidneys or high blood pressure or diabetes or all of these things. And so again, there's a art and a grace in letting go.
Mm. So good.
letting go of your past, letting go of the things that can hinder you. My initial sermon was Hebrews 12 and 2. Let go every weight and sin that so easily slows you down. It's the word. So
It's
you have to
yes.
identify things, some things that can be weight and they not be a sin.
Yes.
So you may be comfortable with carrying the weight, but
Yes.
you're carrying a weight that's not designed for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And what Jesus say, come to me, all ye that are burdened and heavy laden, and I'll give
I
you
will
rest.
give you rest. Yes.
Take upon me my yoke, for my yoke is easy and my burdens are light. So it
Mm-hmm.
goes back to being willing and obedient. That willing
Mm-hmm.
and obedient is not really to people, it's to the
Mm-hmm.
Father,
Yes.
even if it hurts people.
Yeah. Oh, girl.
You know, as much like it hurt to leave a marriage that I had been in for 13 years. And you know, I am pro marriage. You know that I
Yeah.
don't tell anybody to go get a divorce or none of
Yeah.
that. You know, I rather had been able to stay, but I knew for me, my soul and my body physically was dying, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I wanted to be able to live.
Mm.
And and I had to hurt him in order to save me. I had to choose myself. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
even my suggestion with people that may be dealing with some issues in relationships, and it's not just the marriage, whether it's your mom, your children, all the things, learn healthy ways of releasing how you feel
Mm-hmm.
and not suppressing those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Even the
Yes.
things that you suppress, even from a child. Start normalizing therapy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Totally. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Normalize having healthy conversations.
Yes.
Normalize being self-aware and knowing when you're getting overstimulated and you need to
Yes.
do other practices to calm yourself down.
Yes.
I wish I had known that sooner, you know.
Girl.
So
Yeah.
if anything I leave with the people is that being more self-aware and knowing when to let go.
Girl. Oh my gosh. Those are mic drops, Brandy Jones. Oh, girl, look. I I when I talk to you, I just need to strap myself into this chair. So powerful, sis. So powerful. You know, I can't add anything else to that. I really can't. And I just thank you so much, sis, for
Thank you.
joining me once again and having a candid conversation,
Yes.
normalizing candid conversations.
Yeah.
So good, sis.
Yeah.
I can't think of nothing else. I think I'm complete. Oh wait,
Well, I
he just
appreciate
dropped.
you.
Girl, go ahead. I'm sorry. What's this?
No, I was just gonna say I appreciate you and the platform that you're giving to really save souls.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it from a because we know what the soul is. It's our emotions, our decision making, our mind, and all of those
Yeah.
things, the way we think, all this. So really saving souls,
Sis.
helping us
Girl.
renew our minds.
Mm. Girl, that you don't even know that's everything. That means everything to me and literally what I'm called to do. Thank you so much, sis.
Oh,
I
bless.
you know, I just love and adore you and I appreciate you so much.
I
And
appreciate
and,
you.
and you know, and I love you because you are the personification of judge not lest you be judged.
Yeah,
You know? And with personification of so much more, but that just dropped into my soul also just to say, and now I feel complete.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Audience, be sure to leave your thoughts, your feelings, your ahas, your perspective shifts, your hallelujahs, your amens, whatever.
Yes.
I'm sure you've probably been doing that along the way. Just leave their comments, show Brandy love, reach out, follow her, Brandy S. Jones, on social media. We'll have her website, all of that. We'll have that contact in the show notes and at the DYP Live Hub, where you can see both. Actually, you can watch her podcast if you've not heard it or seen it, and you can revisit this Candid Conversation. Don't forget to share these episodes. I tell you, sis, these have been such powerful episodes and shares that every time you come, you just, girl, you just bring light, love, and life. And I bless you for it. I really do. Folks, subscribe to our channel right here at Defining Paths Online. Set those notification bells so you don't miss these conversations, these life-giving conversations like this one right here with Brandy Jones. And Faithful, I want to leave you with this. The truth will set you free. You just heard Brandy's truth. You've heard my truth. We've had truth talk. We've had real talk. We've been transparent and done it with love. This is how we do. This is how the world needs to do. This is how we heal, right? This is how we walk forward together. So your call to action is to think without the box. Unplug from the matrix, unplug from all of that worldly, social, cultural programming, that religious constructs, right? Lean into the spirit. Jesus said he would send the comforter. That's the spirit to lead and guide you into all truth and understanding. Right? It's holding you back and it's snuffing out your soul, and you don't even see it. You don't even realize it, right? Some of you might, right? If you just allow yourself to be present, just be. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will open. The conditions and worldly demands, just like Brandy had us in a mindless spiral, we were unable to remove the mask until we were, right? We found our willpower, we found our strength, and then we pivoted. What is the candid conversation that's trying to break free in your soul right now? Is it finally to choose you? That's when I was able to pivot, heal, rebuild, and pursue my soul's purpose. And I tell you, I am all the more joyful for it, as is Brandy. So with faith as my foundation and conscious intuition as my guide, I was able to become the captain of my fate and master of my soul. I just had to plug back into God. Hear, be still and listen. Know that he is. That's the candid conversation trying to erupt in your soul, perhaps. Is it time to pivot? Is it time to define your path? We are here to help you do just that. Check out Brandy and her Brunch with Brandy life. You will enjoy it, and get one of those cute cups. Reach out to her for hair tips if you need your hair done. All of that. She is truly just embracing the whole of who she is. And I am just so happy for you, sis, and grateful for it. So, folks, we're all about helping you build your success on a firm foundation. So simply reach out. We're here for you. This is Brandy S. Jones with Everything Brandy. I'm DocV, the Pivot Maestro for your mind, body, soul, and business. So feel free to, again, subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. And we'll always be here for you. And remember to be true to you and define your path. We'll see you on our next episode. Brandy, sis, life, blessings, fire, love you.